Welcome to the Running Network Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Hello, everyone. This is Gary Morgan with the Michigan Runner, and I'm at a classic marathon out here in New York, the Wineglass Marathon out here in Corning, New York, and we have the race director here. What's your name?
Sheila Sutton.
And how long have you been race director?
About 4 or 5 years.
So how did you kind of get suckered into being race director?
Things have grown, and there's two of us. Mark Landon and I are the co-race directors. So it's a big job, as you can imagine. So it takes the two of us and a lot of help.
Well, especially when you got to bust people out 20 miles, let them run into town. How many people were running when you started, and how many are running now?
It for the longest time was just a couple hundred, and up until about 2,500 running the marathon, and over 3,000, almost 3,100 running the half marathon.
So almost 6,000 runners.
Yeah.
Well, and then and
that's up 1,000 from last year. So the last 3 years we've seen a growth of about 1,000, and that's by us managing it 1,000 each year.
And so that makes a lot more bus trips.
A lot more bus trips. A lot more of everything.
Sure. And so the logistics of doing this race, taking people out there and everything, what's the biggest challenge of everything that goes on with this race?
What is the biggest challenge? This year, because we're having everybody take a bus to the start, you can't drive to one of the starts and park. We've got some unknown. Next year we'll ask some data and collect some data when we do registration as to around that. But this year it's really over planning for the number of buses that we need, and it's a point-to-point course, so you're not looping around and using the same cones and the same route. You're coning 26.2 miles and making sure 26.2 miles of water stations and volunteers are there and covered. It's not like a loop course, like I said, and you're doing it twice and use the same water stations twice, so forth. So that's probably the biggest, and a lot of coordination goes into working with our local fire departments along the route. They're huge help in actually coordinating the volunteers in their areas and the state police, sheriff, so forth. So we couldn't do it without our local folks at all.
Well, that's for sure. When you have a race and it's a lot of people, you're always relying on all those people. And, I've never done this, but I think this is really unique that you have the expo here at the Corning headquarters here. And, of course, I did a little bit of a tour. This glass making and everything that goes on with glass is pretty amazing, to say the least.
It really is. We live in a town that's steeped rich in glass making, so having our expo at the Corning Museum of Glass is just perfect. It's a great blend and marriage. We're in the Finger Lakes region, so glass and wine all go together. Our half marathon presenting sponsor is Seneca Lake Wine Trails, so we've got bus tours taking some of the half marathoners on Sunday up to tour the wineries, and it's a nice partnership with all of us.
Well, it's pretty cool because, as I see when we first picked up our stuff here, we get a wine glass and a bottle of champagne. Thank you for your sponsors.
You're welcome, and it's local champagne.
Well, good. People love that,
Yes.
Just one last question. Since you've been doing this for 4 or 5, were you race directing or doing other event management before you got into this?
I actually did HR for Corning Incorporated, so I do the people, and particularly our Facebook page and all our newsletters and so forth. And we have a pretty large Facebook following for the size marathon. We're over 40,000 fans, so it's all good. And I run. I've done 17 marathons myself, so.
So you know what we do. Well,
I I think that's important, understanding what the runners want and need. And I think that really, we hope, by Mark and I both being runners, I think that really shows with how we put on a race.